Welcome to an all-new Lay It On Me. Allow me to lay it on you. Google Docky. Here we go again, guys. We have another internet apology. This time it is in the Vtuber space, and the drama that's been happening for the past 2 or 3 days has been freaking absolutely astronomical. Okay, this is one of those situations that involves a lot of key players. Seems like maybe one really big mean girl, some office politics, a little bit of everything. It's ginormous, so ginormous in fact that this huge VTuber by the name of Sinder had to create an apology Google Doc, and it did not go so well. So before we get to the apology, you need to kind of know what happened beforehand. There were like 8 or 9 Google documents that came out and talk about how Sinder and her boyfriend, aka manager, basically did mean girls and was blacklisting a large portion of the VTuber community for... Let me TLDR for you. This is Natalie. She's an artist, okay? She's one of the people that draws like art for the VTubers, okay? Draws like their model, and then it becomes like their mama is what it's kind of called. And she's absolutely freaking spectacular. Like, as you can just see from the, like... Yeah. Anyway, all of this started 2 days ago, where Natalis came out and said, "Hello, I'm here to share something that has affected me personally and hurt others. This was very hard for me, but I feel it's necessary. Please do not send hate to anyone on my behalf. This is all I want to say, and it's called terminating my work with Sinder." The TLDR of this doc is essentially 2 people, Sinder and her manager, aka boyfriend, redacted, were both basically trying to gatekeep Natalis from basically doing artwork with other artists. During their conversations and tenure and time working together, both Sinder and Redacted would be like, "Hey, sorry to put you in this drama, but you know, can you just work with just us? You know, don't work with these people, don't work with these VTubers. We got some drama, they're kind of weird, so don't work with them, don't work with them." And this person's just an artist. I'm like, "Hey, I'm just trying to, you know, get paid. I'm trying to spread out the good word of how much I'm supposed to do. So why would I stop working with people who I consider my friends?" But Sinder and Redacted were basically in the background feeding her information, kind of trying to say like, yeah, no, the people that you say you want to work with, you shouldn't. They're kind of off, they're kind of weird. And was like, by the way, if you start working with other people, then the art you made for us becomes less valuable. So let's just keep the nanotechnology here within this small circle so that we can do better, okay? Don't spread the good wealth of nano. So then on stream, you guys sent me this link here. This person by the name of Shiroyoshi made a compilation of all the documents up until this point, okay? This is now outdated. There's now like maybe like 3 or 4 more Google Docs talking about the situation, along with tweets, in which Shiroyoshi had said, here are all the documents and mentions of Sinder's behavior. So Silverveil, a VTuber, came out and talked about her experience with Sinder and Redacted essentially being one of the VTubers that was mentioned in the original documentation. They were showing these chat logs between these 2 people, and how Redacted was basically like, "Hey, don't work with Silverveil. Don't work with Bao, okay? Don't work with any of these people here because we just don't want you to, and they're kind of weird with us, and we want you to be with us, and we don't want you to spread the good wealth." A really important and creepy part of it, though, had to do with this Google Doc that had to do with this VTuber by the name of Spite. The Spite one was very interesting because it appears that Sinder basically kind of made her entire image based off of the fact that there was this girl named Spite, all right? They were both fox, dog, demon, hellhounds type things, okay? But I think Spite was here doing a lot of this content first, and then Sinder would come back and do something very similar as seen by here. The problem, though, is that for some reason, Sinder's fan base then started going to Spite and being like, "Hey, why are you copying Sinder?" Okay, kind of basically bad-mouthing her, thinking it was one way or the other, but it's kind of looking the other way around. It's kind of looking like Sinder was getting that inspiration from Spite. Again, here's another example. On the left, you had Spite, right? She had made this costume with the Cerberus and the hoodie and the bangs and the boobas, and yeah, and then a little bit later we had the same basic type hoodie version here with Sinder, and the same bangs and that cleavage, and it's kind of like looking awfully kind of similar. And to top it off, someone had came in anonymously and said, "Look, hey, I had a rather odd question, I suppose. Have you had any messages from Vtuber Sinder regarding your design? This may seem out of nowhere, but I'm only asking because I had made an OC like a while back, and I was accused by her and others of stealing her design because my dog girl had flames in ears and her fans claimed that was exclusive to her design." So There was another person here who was like, hey, I got harassed by Cinder as well. I'm just very curious, did you? And that's the gist of it, okay? There was more documents that came out. If you guys want to hear the big TLDR, I have like a 2-hour, 3-hour read where I read almost all of the documents. It's on the second channel, Omni After Dark, okay? Where I stream and we just basically go into way more detail. But that's the TLDR of all of these people coming out and saying their experience with Cinder. There was also someone else that came out to say that they had a relationship with Cinder like a long time ago, and then it was basically while she still had a boyfriend. But so that one kind of came out as well. It was kind of like off on the side. Didn't have anything to do with what's happening now, but I guess it just adds more fuel to the fire. So now you're all caught up. Here's Cinder, okay, almost 300,000 views. Hellhound, Wolf, Vtuber, and yeah, oh yeah, they were also a part owner with Gamer Subs as well. Gamer Subs has been in a lot of hot fire because I think there was something that happened like last week. I don't remember what happened specifically, but some people were saying like Gamer Subs is not looking too good in combination with this whole thing that was happening with Cinder as well. Anyway, there's been 2 tweets that Cinder's made since this issue happened, okay? The first one was Cinder saying, effective immediately, Redacted will no longer be managing or overseeing my VTuber activities. He no longer represents me as a creator, my brand, or my intentions. I'm sorry, everyone. I will make a larger response when I'm able, okay? This one being a little sussy because more than likely that's currently her boyfriend. Her boyfriend might have actually like helped her type this. Like that's kind of like how, like, you know, that's how much they are. She then came out with an apology, and I'm just looking down here. Shy Lily completely ratioed 81,000 likes. This is the part where I don't know what's going on anymore. We're going into the realm of, hey, let's figure this out by ourselves together, okay? Let's read this apology document. So here's the apology. Let's see how this works out, okay? She said, there's nothing I can say to make this better, but I will try my best to properly convey my feelings, my frustrations, and mistakes. I'd like to explain my point of view and apologize to each party affected. Lots of parties affected that we know of. There's probably a lot of people we don't know of that were probably also affected. Redacted has been my co-content creator since I began making content, managing all aspects of what I do and being a major part of why I'm here. We have also been in a relationship since the start of my endeavors. It's no secret that many VTubers choose to keep their public and personal lives separate, and I'm no different. As of yesterday, he is no longer working with me, and I have not extensively discussed any of this with him. I don't know. Where our personal situation goes from here will be figured out between us privately. I never intended to mention us publicly, but given that the claims are out there, I want everyone to know I'm taking this seriously. After years of working on everything together, his hyper business oriented outlook warped my view of what it is I should be doing and what should be important to me as I navigate this career path. All right, red flag. Okay, saying that your partner's business-oriented outlook warped you. I don't know. I don't know if I sit with that. I don't know if your balls can warp your perception of like the power of friendship and just treating people with decent normalcy and respect, right? Right. If your boyfriend's saying like, hey, we need to go out here and get this bread and get this money and get these collabs and let's talk with these people. Sure. But then if your boyfriend's saying, hey, we need to like kind of we need to mean girl things down. We need to gatekeep nanolists. We need to make sure that No, there was no warping there, in my opinion. I'm just giving comments as we're reading, but so far based on what I don't know. I don't feel like that. I don't feel like that. I have a terrible work-life balance as it is, and being around projects and streams all day, every day made me lose sight of the point. That is called an excuse. This is an excuse. Oh God, this is going to be a bad apology, isn't it? Okay, I'm not going to empathize for your terrible work-life balance. I'm just, you know, it's, again, you can have a terrible work-life balance, have projects and streams all the day and not do what you did. Okay, you can just be a good person, but also do these things, right? It didn't make you lose sight. This is another thing where she's basically saying that something else caused her to do the things that she not have done. Like, come on, this is not a good start. All of this happening for me to realize this behavior isn't normal or healthy and is not an outlook I want to have. This doesn't absolve me of the things I've willingly done wrong and went along with, or the way I've treated people who were fully undeserving. Okay. In regards to Nanolist, for the majority of the time working with her, Red was the one almost solely doing the communication about new plans and negotiations through his private DMs. Nano had a project server we were all a part of where the actual art and models were worked on, but the conversations were focused around the work itself. I was not fully aware of the extent of Red's manipulation over Nano's commission decisions, and I should have been more diligent in my oversight. Every time I had been told that Nano had agreed to work on a new commission with me, it had been willingly and with excitement. From my POV, it was that she genuinely wanted to be working on these things. I wanted to work with Nano as much as I possibly could, making her art the face of my brand. We had come to the conclusion that it'd be in my best interest to talk with Nano about making more time for my projects by negotiating with her to cut out other work. See, look, and I think I mentioned this on stream. If you want to buy Nano, okay, Nano is for everybody. She's for the people. All right, you don't have a monopoly on Nano. And the fact that you tried to create one was kind of wild. But if you were going to, you'd have to come up with a lot of money, a lot of big buco duco. If you really want to get a monopoly on Nano, you would have to pay her the lost revenue that she would not be making if she was working with all of these other artists. You'd have to come in really strong, right? Then I'd be like, all right, the value of the deal here is to create Nano and Sinder as two people. Okay, that's kind of fair, and she's getting compensated for it. But that was not the case. That's not what happened here. Anyway, they said this was wrong for us to push onto her, and it was wrong to the other creators who wanted the chance of working with her. No, all you had to do was ask, right? All you had to say was, hey, we're wondering, would you like to work exclusively with us? We know you're working with a bunch of people. We kind of want to just be straightforward. We kind of want to just keep you here with us. Can we pay you a large sum of money for that to happen? Would that work for you? Or do you feel like you really want to work with other people? Nano can be like, do I want to work with one agency or do I want to work with multiple people? And then there you go. But it wasn't done that way. It was done in a very sneaky, gaslight, roundabout way of saying that there was drama and issues between these people and kind of basically mean girl and trying to tell these other people that they're not so good people and that's why you shouldn't work with them. There was only one specific creator we were responsible for naming and pressuring Nano into reconsidering projects with, not an entire list. Of her own volition, Nano canceled a large portion of her model commissions last September. However, the claim that I was just using her is wrong. I've always treated Nano with respect and as my friend. I did give her a lot of work and we did everything we could to accommodate her schedule if she needed more time or a break, and even helped her with her own project payments multiple times. I've invited her on my stream. I've sent her my merch and things she's made for me, and I'm always open to talking to her about things outside of projects in the instances we would message each other. This is a situation where a person then starts giving a list of things that they've done to kind of be like, hey, I'm a good person and I'm a good friend. And here are all the things that I've done wrong, that I've done right. Okay. Kind of trying to think that some of that offsets the wrong that was done. This is not good. This is not good. Regarding the exclusivity deal made between them, I had no part in the direct negotiations of their eventual agreement, and I had no knowledge of Bao and Cotton being included in this list. If I had known my friends were included, I would have said something to put a stop to it. I was only aware of it being about one person who I was unfairly pursuing. So Sinder is saying, I didn't know the full extent of what Redacted was doing. With all these people, I had no clue, but there was one person. And I was definitely trying to get this person cooked. When Nano had messaged me about this agreement almost a month ago, I later was under the assumption that it was only Silver Veil. I was upset and my initial messages to her were very guilt-trippy, but I wasn't going to force Nano to do anything she wasn't okay with and tried reassuring her that I was okay with her decision. This is a very weird sentence too as well, because you're basically admitting that you were applying pressure. Okay, you were trying to apply guilt in order to pressure her, but then you also said that you were okay with her decision. Like you weren't okay with the decision. You were trying to manipulate her with guilt. Nano had also never come to me as seriously and professionally as her document was looking to address the issues she had with either of us or terminate our partnership. I had no idea there was even a conversation about Shy Lily recently between Red and Nano until reading her document. It's true, I had confided in Red that lately I hadn't been hearing from Lily like I had in the past and was worried something was wrong, but that's as far as it went, and he took it upon himself to try digging for more info. And I was never even aware Nano was ever planning to work on a model for another of my friends, Jerry. I don't condone anything about what Red said about Bao in these DMs either, and him using we and our in this context is abhorrently incorrect, and I believe was done to gain greater credibility behind what he was saying. So, okay, so this is Sinder saying, like, look, what Redacted did, this wasn't like this. He was out here using my name and likeness in order to kind of persuade and push these business concepts and ideals. I don't know if I believe it, but it could be, it's plausible. That's what she's saying. That's her truth. plausible. I don't know if I believe it though. Yes, Red and I were initially upset when Bao hired my editor, and I took it personally when I shouldn't have. I felt as if maybe my content wasn't good enough or like I wasn't paying enough for his work. But I accepted it and was happy for him for getting that bag and supporting one of my friends at the same time. And yes, I was also upset when Sack, the boss, Brush, and V-Editor had told us that he won't be working on any future project with us and would instead be working exclusively for Bao. So she was upset that Sack said she was going to work exclusively with Bao, but she was literally trying to get Nano to exclusively work with just them. So y'all was trying to get Nano just in your corner, but now you upset that someone wanted to voluntarily work with Bao like one-on-one? Like, bro, what is the lack of awareness here? Red got it in his head that it was Bao's fault that it happened and seemingly held a grudge against her for it. He was very passionate about Boss Rush and the potential future projects around it, but he told me without an envy editor as talented as Sack, the future projects wouldn't reach the same height, so he created this headcanon that's laid out in those DMs. I wasn't convinced this was the case, but it's my fault for never speaking with Bao about these things directly to clear things up and letting it sprout to the point that it got to. Every comment here about her own music, guilt tripping, and claims about our shared feelings towards her are disgusting, and I honestly don't know why he thought this way about my close friend beyond the resentment over those two things, or why it was worth sabotaging her over. All right, so Cinder trying to create a lot of space, being like, I don't know why. I don't know why he did this. I don't know why Redacted did this. I don't support that. I don't agree with that. I would have never said that. I never heard any of these things. This is something, I don't know if they live together or not. Maybe they don't. I don't know, but I do know that they're in a relationship, or they were, or they're, I don't know. But to kind of be like saying, I don't know what my partner is doing is, it's a little suspicious to me, because she seems like she has the same energy as her partner. She's been mean girling the people, and she's already admitted that she's been mean girling a couple people. Her partner's been doing the same thing, so it feels like they're kind of on the same path. They were clout chasing, they were social climbing, and they were trying to keep people down. Like that's just what it was. It feels like to me it's just business. They were just trying to pretend and be fake friends with the people around them, but it wasn't really like that. This is pretty long. We might have to just keep this to one episode. Like, this might have to be the only topic of the day, and then maybe I'll drop a video for you guys tomorrow about everything else. I mean, it's not a lot happening, I think, except for like the 100 gorillas or one man versus 100 gorillas thing. Anyway, let's continue. I'm getting off topic. So the apology. The "it's just business" screenshot of my DMs with Nano's document was from November of 2023, and I'll go into my thought process of everything I said here. What Red was trying to explain to Nano is that if everyone has a model by her, then the inmate value of her models overall diminished by there being an oversaturation of that type of model out there. If everyone in the world had a VTuber model done by her, then the value of having her model wouldn't be the same as if there would only be a handful of them, which he viewed as a negative for me. I understand where he was coming from with this, but in the VTuber space, this isn't something we should have pursued. Okay, Nano has amazing skill where she's able to draw each of her VTuber children uniquely, so I was never upset seeing new model siblings. In many cases, I was there cheering them on their debuts and looking to collab with them as sisters when I could. Me saying "it's just business" was referring to my acceptance of Nano's business decisions, whether she chose to work with me or not. This was not in reference to anyone's model being canceled, further explaining to her that it's okay if she chooses not to work with me. See, this is a lot of words. This is a lot of words that don't basically take away the fact that you again tried to guilt trip her. You tried to monopolize her, and you tried to guilt trip her. Okay, you tried to manipulate her into just working with you. So everything you're saying here just goes out of the window, because it's very clear as day how you try to just keep it in house, and you've already admitted to how selfish that is. Like, and so all of this extra stuff it's just fluff. As in my opinion, it's just fluff. This was not in reference to anyone's model being canceled, further explaining to her that it's okay if she chooses not to work with me. I can understand where the next part can sound manipulative, but my intention was to reminisce about the journey we had together up to this point, since at this time, I wasn't sure if this is where Nano and I would stop working together as frequently as we had, and I'd have to look for new model artists. There it is. I would have to look for a new model artist. I would. If you used me, very, very, very focused on herself, on themselves, me, I'd have to find somebody else. Oh no, like let her see other people. You don't own her, and you're not paying her to own her. So stop. What are you doing? All you're trying to do is you're trying to manipulate and keep your stuff more valuable by making sure that no one else works with it. That's all this was just self-interest. Like, I don't know why it's being sugarcoated in any other kind of way here. Okay, so let's move on. When talking about Silverville, I need to start at the beginning. All right, before I was Cinder, I was a pink cherry blossom girl named Tashi that did ASMR content. When the VTuber boom happened in 2020, I knew I wanted to join in. Red and I contacted an artist in October, and they were set to start my VTuber design by December. The plan was to take my cherry blossom persona Tashi and make her a pink and white wolf girl VTuber. In November of the same year, Silverville revealed her Sakura wolf design. I had heard of Silverville earlier that year, but I didn't watch her streams at all. We knew we had to pivot before we were stuck with a design that would just be a copy of one of the most popular VTubers at the time. Like I've explained many times on my stream, I knew I wanted to be a wolf girl, so I mixed my love of Okami and metal music into the design and came out with a hellhound. I'm a little bit confused. Can't we just have people who kind of look the same? That's fine? I mean, right, there's only a limited amount of like designs, right? If you want to be a dog, there could be a bunch of dogs, right? There could be a bunch of wolves. There could be a bunch of hellhounds. Like, do y'all look similar? Sure. That's fine. But all y'all can be little sisters with little deviations. Y'all could be the hellhound sisters of a broodling, you know what I mean? So I get that people want to kind of like not be the person to copy other people. I'm very curious if she's going to move on and talk about Spite, about what looked like was copying. Anyway, my name was originally going to be Ember, but Red came up with the name Cinder since it was a mix of Sin plus Cinder, plus both hell and fire themed. It was only coincidence that it ended up being similar to Silver. I was genuinely interested in pursuing friendship with her and drew fan art myself of us together. On the other hand, Red was in the ear the whole time saying how great working together would be since, again, he's been the business-oriented side of my brand. Since I started streaming, I had been ruthlessly compared to Silverville, being called the discount version of her. I was accused of copying her design, copying her personality, even copying her laugh of all things. And there was a large number of people who were diehard believers in the fact that I stole all of those attributes maliciously from my own game, citing the art I posted of us together, calling her an inspiration. This feels like nothing. What I'm reading here doesn't actually feel like it's important. I feel like this is not important. Does anybody, are you guys getting this from what I'm reading? This doesn't feel important. It feels like this is fluff. It was also the fact that this made me insecure. Like, I wanted to know if she believed all of these things or not. It really felt as if she didn't like that I even exist in the same space. So at this point, I was working with Nano consistently. We brought up not making any more models for her. If a VTuber model is how everyone recognizes you, then it'd be hard to compare us directly if we no longer look alike or have that shared similarity. It was a wrong and selfish decision, but it made me feel better, and that's why it was a constant topic with Nano. It made me feel better. Again, this is the very, very selfish me, I mentality here. Red pushed for this harder than I ever did because he knew how it affected me for years. But no matter what the outcome was, I wasn't going to walk away from working with Nano. Silver was completely undeserving of this treatment, and it was my own insecurities that led me to making this choice. Yes, that was. I became unapologetically evil towards her due to no direct action of her own. There's no excuse for any of this. So yeah, becoming unapologetically evil, that's jealousy. That's jealousy, that's envy, that's how it starts. Just hate her. Just hating somebody who's your competition is doing better than you, and yeah, that's all it is. It's just hate. Moving on from Silverville, let's talk about Spite. Once again, I had no involvement or knowledge of Red breaking up Spite to Nano in 2023. My only personal involvement was excluding some specific from working with Nano with Silver. My design sheet and outfit were finished and made public at the very start of 2021. The first thing she mentions is a debut teaser in 2022 that was apparently posted on the same day as her original debut, which I honestly don't know if at the time was intentional or not. I don't know when I first discovered Spite, and it could have been after she debuted it. A lot of I don't knows. When I first debuted it, I was very possessive of my design details. I had made it a year and a half since my design sheet was finished and public to having a full VTuber debut, as I watched everything grow and change from the sidelines, and I didn't want anyone else to capitalize on my concept before I could. Soon after my original debut, I remember Spite getting an update to her model that made it seem like she was closely resembled me, including fire added to her model. Ooh. Can't have that. Can't have no fire being added to the Hellhound model. Without evidence, I saw it and thought she must have copied me, but I never did anything about it other than voice my frustrations to Red. Imagine like someone like puts fire on you. Like, did she just put fire on her armpits? That's my thing. Does she have fire on her eyebrows? That's my thing. Does she have fire in general? And we're all hellhounds. That's my elements. Like, oh my gosh. I didn't want to start drama with anyone, and I didn't have ownership over fire as a design detail. The references for the ripped shirt and short outfits on my bikini model was given to Nano in June of 2022 with the purpose of having a cover-up outfit that would be safe for Twitch. The mech art she's referring to was designed around my concept of my fire changing blue. The fact that the rest of the art was grayscale was the artist's choice since it was going onto the back of a hoodie. And I didn't have to say, or at least I didn't counter that being the final decision. There was no intention to deliberately look like Spite with this piece. Unfortunately, both my Angel and Sleepy outfits being some of the outfits Spite has done in the past was just a coincidence. I'd always planned to one day make an Angel counterpart to my Demon outfit when it was being made in 2023. And my original ref sheet laid the groundwork for that idea. I never liked theming anything around my brand in a religious light, so I chose to make my Angel from a more Greek Valkyrie than biblical. So Cinder's just saying, great minds think alike. I was a hellhound. She was a hellhound. I was thinking the same things as her. So if there's similarities, it's only because our brains were thinking the same things, which is possible. That is not actually not plausible. It's a theme. Okay. So that could be the case. It could be the case, but it was just odd coincidences. A lot of coincidences together means there's no such things as coincidences. Plus with the whole mean girl thing vibe going on, plus the way that they work, I can't say for sure that I believe it because it seems like it's all of a theme to kind of just, take. And it's all about her. And I don't know. The Sleepy outfit was a last minute decision to pivot from a fully 3.0 model, opportunity to work with gamer subs. Spite never should have received the hate comments over her outfit or any comments comparing us or belittling her because of my existence, and I never advocated for anyone to do so, especially given my experience. Spite also brought up another creator who reached out to her about their experience with me, and I can only assume it's Neon Tales. They are ASMR artists who at one point posted a Hellhound OC for one of their upcoming ASMR videos, and it was undoubtedly created using me as a reference. This was right after my debut, and like I said, I was very protective of my design elements being unique to me, and I overreacted. Shortly after, I apologized, and they agreed to adjust the character design, and I thought the matter was settled. At the very start of my online career, I was a GFE ASMR artist. I don't know what GFE is. Before I started my channel, I had gotten into listening to roleplay audios myself. I'd always been a shut-in throughout high school and college, and I wasn't happy. I don't need all this. I don't need this backstory. I don't need this flashback type shit. What are we doing? I have never had many IRL friends and had met Rain doing the ASMR. I quickly became comfortable chatting with him about everything. Oh, this is the one about Rain, the person that she was in a relationship or kind of on the side with. Quickly became comfortable chatting, divulging my grievances about my personal life when I shouldn't have. I cheated on my boyfriend with Rain in these conversations, flirting and sexting. I used Rain for emotional comfort and sexual fantasy while I let my real life relationship collapse. It was about my dissatisfaction with my personal life and escaping into messages with someone else who I found through content focused around GF and BF RP. Oh, so you're telling me that girlfriend, boyfriend roleplay can turn into people actually becoming girlfriends and boyfriends? If you, I've never done girlfriend, boyfriend roleplay, but I've heard stories about it. I've heard that this can like, how you gonna be in a relationship and then roleplay being in a relationship with another person? And it's just roleplay. Like I mean, I guess actors do this all the time. Right, like in movies, I was just watching the last season, and Joe's always out here making out with like some of the girls that's on the show, and I'm sex scenes and everything, but he's like married or has a relationship too as well. So I don't know. Is that what it was? I don't know if it was. I don't know. I don't even know how actors could do that shit, to be honest. That shit is crazy. Sorry, I'm on a tangent. I might have ADHD. And by the time I was ready to debut as Cinder, I wanted to leave that in the past. Still to this day, I regret my decisions and have been living with it since, and I was lucky to be able to mend my relationship after this. So this sounds like maybe this is not new news for Cinder and Redacted, and they were actually able to get past that. Yeah, okay, whatever. And lastly, I want to address peaches. This is a very big problem I have, and I'm sure many of the positions do. At the end of the day, I'm one person. I am one person working on multiple projects with multiple companies, talking to dozens of people and streaming for hours. Stop it. This is the guilt trip part. Stop it. Stop doing this. You don't recognize that you're doing this because you're too far up your own ass, okay? Sorry, but you keep making excuses. You keep leading up with reasons why you're doing things. I'm so busy. I have so many things going on. I'm just one person. These are called excuses. A majority of this stuff and this apology was not needed. It was Not needed whatsoever. Like, you could have been like, hey, let me explain my point of view, XYZ. But this is manipulation, whether you recognize it or not. To come here and start tacking on, here are all the things I did for this person. Here are all the things I did for this person. Here's all the things I did for this person. So that's why I actually really did like this person when I did that bad thing, right? This is a common tactic that people use, manipulative people use to spin the narrative. And the point is, if you want to basically take accountability, look at specifically what you did and your actions and apologize specifically for it without making excuses. Okay? If you don't make excuses. That's what it is. And this right here is making a lot of excuses. Does it give us context? Sure. Are you a person who's tired and you're working all the time? Sure. But again, because it doesn't do anything, it doesn't excuse like the behavior that you make. There are plenty of people who you're in exact same position who would not do the things that you do. It has nothing to do with it. Again, you working really hard has nothing to do with the bad decisions that you made, because you could have a person doing the exact same thing you are doing and make good decisions. Be a good person. Therefore, it's not correlated. It's not correlated. It's not necessary. It's an excuse. I've never had a big social battery, and I get very tired easily when interacting with people. I haven't had much energy at all over the past year, leading to me taking frequent naps. I've rarely been able to keep up with my closet handful of friends on a frequent basis, let alone everyone else. Red has always been a big help in keeping up with things, but he doesn't do everything. I'm so sorry I made you feel forgotten, Peaches. I've always cherished your friendship, and I was so incredibly excited to meet you in Paris. I'm so grateful for everything you've done for me, and I've never thought to purposely drop you just because I could. I'm sorry. I know I made a lot of people feel forgotten or ignored. It's so easy to get caught up in projects or what I'm doing while I have the energy to do it. The people fall by the wayside. I understand the feelings of those who resent me over this, and all I can say is sorry. Now, this one, no one is entitled to anyone's time. All right. I don't know the details between her and Peaches. Okay. But like, you can stop talking to any person you want for any reason you want. All right. Now, and if that person was your friend, the word friend gets tossed around a lot during these internet fiascos. Like, oh, this is my friend. It was my friend and my friend. But a lot of times they're not friends. A lot of times they're just online colleagues, business partners, but then they start using the word friend to kind of like appeal to emotion, almost kind of like how YouTubers might say, hey, I love you at home, but I do love you, by the way. Create that parasocial relationship. Like, yeah, Omni's the only YouTuber who actually loves me, kind of. So like, what I'm trying to say is, I know friends can mean things for certain people, but sometimes when people say friend, they mean what it is that they can offer them. Are they something that they can give them something to them? And if they can't give them of any value, they stop being a friend, right? So people have different definitions of friends, and that's why that word has got to be very, very careful. And you should probably select terms that make more sense, but calling people more of a friend allows them to feel like they want to do more for you. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm kind of a side bit, but it's very careful. No one's entitled to your time, even as a friend. And if you are a friend to somebody, it's a good idea to communicate and say, hey, I just want to let you know I'm taking steps back because I feel like my RAM is just gone. I have no energy. I do it all the time. I let people know, hey, I'm just not a person that's socially online. I have to disconnect because I am always online when it comes to my work. So if I'm not responding to you, please do not think that's because I don't want to talk to you or that's because I don't care about you or nothing. I'm the type of person that needs to hibernate. I need to just isolate. I just really need to kind of like recover my HP and get out of that bubble of being connected with all these people. So I might be gone from time to time. And if that's something that doesn't work for you, then I understand. And we could just not have a friendship. And that's why I have little to no friends, because I don't want to give anybody and make people feel like that, like they're obligated to I have to obligate their time. I'm talking about myself. You see what I'm saying, where I'm going with this? Again, let's finish. I don't deserve to be able to contact everyone involved directly to personal apologies, so I'll do it here in chance. Tanano, I'm sorry. I let things get to this point or even entertain the thought of you working exclusively with me. That's not fair to you. Wouldn't be here without you, and I wouldn't have been able to do most of what I've already done without you. I felt overly attached to our relationship over the past 4 years and loved your work so much that I wanted to make myself exclusive to your art and should have never sought the feelings to be reciprocated. Maybe I'm just okay with this, but I'm like, I don't think that's a problem. You just got to pay up. That's a lot of money. If you want to keep that to yourself, you want to own that? You want to make that a part of your brand? You're going to have to pay. That's just money. Pay me once you owe me, because it's going to be a lot. She's very, very valuable. So if you can't match the pay, then keeping her to yourself without any kind of added benefit that's just selfish. That's just hogging. That's just trying to repress her. It's just about you. It's just about you. It's the benefit, how it benefits you. You don't realize how for Nano, it's cutting off her relationships and her potential to grow and her potential to make more money. You are not going to replace any of that. So is it always just about Sender? And I don't know. She might recognize this. I don't know. If she watches the video, maybe she'll understand it. But this whole thing is just always just about her. Everything you've worked on for me was always so perfect, and I lost sight of how everyone else around me would have felt. I had no intentions of pressuring you into anything. But looking back on my cloud judgment, I can see how my messages felt that way. You said it, Kate. You said it was guilt trippy earlier. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? When I talked about how my models helped you improve, I meant that as looking back on how far we've come together. We've been friends for so long and cheered each other up when we both started growing and getting more opportunities like plushies and figurines. You have been my exclusive artist for full live TD models for the majority of the time as a VTuber. And of course, I would have been sad if you didn't want to continue the relationship. But in all other private DMs, I was okay with you ultimately doing what was best for yourself. I saw you as someone I trusted and loved and wanted to make sure you were still taking care of yourself with all the projects you took on mine and otherwise. I never saw you as just a business partner. I thought I was reassuring you that I'd always be understanding if you wanted to move on other projects. I genuinely appreciate our friendship. I always saw you as a close friend and I'm sorry for what I put you through. So that's what she said to Nano. I think her character right now is very like at play. So when people are reading this, it's unfortunately getting to a place where it's like, I don't know if I believe you. There's a lot of contradictions to what you're saying here. And when we go back to the replies, right, a lot of people have been like, this is garbage. You actually said, hey, these are lies. Just flat out lies. You're saying that you're saying this, but I have receipts here of you saying this. It's not a good look. It's not a good look. She apologizes to Bao. She apologizes to Sack. She apologizes to Cotton and Lily and to Silver, to Spite, to Peaches, to Rain. This one I'm curious about. You're the first person I met as an AMS artist during a time where I was immature and vulnerable. I ended up being consumed by the content I was making, and it led me to making awful decisions I still think about and regret. I was not in a good spot at the time. I hated myself for this kind of behavior, and it took a long time for me to move on for what happened. I have no excuses. I'm sorry you were dragged into my drama, and I'm sorry how I made you feel after I just wanted to close the book on things. So these personal sorries, I feel like are just not for us, in my opinion. Like, this is like something that I'd actually, you guys can read it if you want. If you want to apologize to a full person, to bow to these, I feel like that's just kind of like out of my territory. I'm just kind of curious what she has to say to take accountability for the actions that people are claiming as a whole. But personal sorries feels like a way of them talking to that person. And it's not really, that sorry is not really for anyone except for them. Anyway, I said, I'm so sorry for my pyro pups and my mods for expecting me to lead by a better example than this. I'm sorry to the VTuber community for looking towards me as someone to aspire to. I'm sorry to Kaiser, who put his heart and soul into everything he's ever done for me and not even talking to you about how I felt. I'm sorry for the dozens of artists that have put their hard work into me, and I'm sorry for the rest of my friends who I've let down. I've led a bad example, and I don't expect forgiveness. I've made many mistakes over my 5 years on the internet. I'm only one person, living the one life I get for the first and only time, like everyone else. As I said at the start, I ended up developing an extremely unhealthy work-life balance, and the harm Red has caused with the way he viewed things is irreparable. Ooh, pushing it over to Red, The way I've been perceiving things lately is not how I want to view the world moving forward, and this goes to show there's a lot I need to address and improve if I'm to continue being a creator. I'm devastated that the friendship so special to me, understandably, never be mended again. I love my job, and I love all the friends I've had. Thank you for reading. Sender. So Sender is expressing remorse and saying that I am sorry. And yeah, people think that this apology is absolutely terrible. I'm not a huge fan of it. I think there's a lot that this person does not actually understand about themselves in terms of how they've contributed, whether it's on purpose or not. So the replies, I know you guys are very curious about this one. How did they reply to this? Okay, we have Shy Lily, very huge VTuber. She ratioed this person into infinity. Shy Lily saying the absolute audacity to sit here and continue to manipulate and gaslight is absolute insanity. Okay, one of the people who are heavily involved in this situation, by the way. So what she has to say has a lot of weight. The pain and mental torment you've caused to the ones closest and most supportive of you have been devastating. And I've never been so heartbroken and hurt so badly for my friends. You're the fakest person I've ever had the displeasure of supporting. Reading and hearing how you've really viewed me behind my back, not just through screenshots of your man, but also your very own messages while having to sit here and read through this bullshit lies you spin makes me want to vomit. Oh my God. Sorry. I feel like I had something to say, but that was very good. That was very poetic. To claim that you didn't know a single thing and had zero awareness of what your man was up to when everyone who's I like to put man in capital, like a capital M by here, like man was up to when everyone who shared even a single moment with you knows that you basically operate as the same person, sharing every waking moment while loving to jump at the slightest opportunity to turn into your most slanderous self as soon as the opportunity was given, even when talking about your friends is sickening. I've experienced your own actions without red in a situation where in your own screenshotted words, you express a pressure to live up to what Lily is and proceeded to throw one of your most loyal and supportive friends under the bus after months of continuous planning just because you consistently chose business over friends, never feeling bad for failing them, aka social climbing, using people as tools to continue to climb, to increase and make your livelihood better. All right. Using the concept of friends to, hey, let's collab, and then also give me, just to earn the bag and compete with me over a V card collab that you rescheduled to be on the exact date your friend needed you to keep an important promise. You actively lied about it to them, instead blaming me for a collab you rescheduled, adding me to the pool of excuses to save your ass when you realized you were being a bad friend. Why blame me for choosing to miss an obligation you agreed to on one of the most important days in that friend's career? Everything you do is out of competition through your constant need to one-up the people who are the sole reason you even have these opportunities and platforms to earn from to begin with. You're welcome, by the way. Damn. So your homies, it sounds like some of the people in your circle collab with you, helped you to move up. These were actually people who were your homies. These were homies. They was like, look, let's do this together. Let's grow together. Let's do this together. Let's actually, be Nakama. Let's be friends. Let's get this bag together. But you was like, no, I'm using this person to get my bag. Therefore, they will be my friends. And then I'm going to find another person. I'm going to be friends with them. And then they're going to help me get my bag. And we just going to keep going back and forth. Oh, man, it's inauthentic. It's giving and authentic. You claim that it's just business. Well, in the business world, there has to be accountability, and all you've done is try to shove it away and admit nothing. In true narcissistic fashion, you're only feeling sorry about yourself and your own consequences and your career and try to salvage it. Ooh. Oh, man. I'm sorry for everyone who looked up to you as inspiration, and I'm especially sorry for your fans. Pyro Pups deserve better. Pyro Pups are going directly to Shy Lily. This is the great... Shy Lily said, Pyro Pups, y'all deserve better. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard the Shy Lily. I'm teasing, but am I? Fifi said, damn, just disappointed reading this. Deme saying, I had no involvement or knowledge, as if partners don't tell everything to each other. No screenshots either to prove anything you're saying. Nah. Apology, looks inside. This is why I did nothing wrong and it was all my boyfriend. Cottontail saying, I'm disappointed. T9 saying, anyway, lads, I've toasted some bread earlier. Opinions on the food. It's really bad. All the VTubers in here, like the Avengers squad of all the VTubers are here. As if a boyfriend and girlfriend don't tell each other every single little thing. You are blaming him to save yourself. I'm disappointed in you. Shame on you for the pain you've caused all your friends just so you can be the best. Dude, F off. The classic shift the blame to the boyfriend, fake and break up, come back single and in therapy, and then capitalize on what's left of your community. They want her gone. This community wants her gone. A lot of people are saying this is similar to another situation with a VTuber. I think it was Yaki. And it was this whole situation where there's a person who's just trying to capitalize, be a fake friend, push other people out, talk bad about them. It's a really bad situation because you'll have these people turn your friends into enemies. Like imagine you have a bunch of friends and there's one mean girl who's over here telling all your circle of friends that you're doing things that you're not. Right? And then you're like, well, now your friends are acting kind of distant from you. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Don't even realize there's one mean person that's trying to get you kicked out of the group. That's trying, and that's just terrible because there's nothing that you can do about it until it's too late. And then you'll have all of these mixed experiences because of this sabotage. It's absolutely wild. And none of these VTubers are here for it. They're all coming together like the Avengers and saying, no, we're not messing with this apology. We're not messing with you. We have no remorse. Get out. This is the type of energy that destroys communities. To be clear, there's a lot of people who social climb. Okay, there's more than likely lots of people in his thread who've probably done similar things, if not worse. Okay, maybe they just haven't got caught. But the point is that we must shun it when it is in place, right? If a person gets caught for doing these things, if you got caught, if you were too stupid to get caught for social climbing, you got to get called out for it because it's not something that can be condoned. tricking people and lying to people nonstop in order to just for your own gain and manipulating, you're ruining relationships. You're ruining lives. Little by little, you're ruining everyone that's around you. And that's very cancerous to have in a community. And it sounds like these guys, these VTubers, are not about that life and want her gone. Anyway, that's all I have for this episode of Lay It On Me. You've just been laid. Moral of the story: no new friends. That's right. I have a very strong no new friend policy. I have been in similar situations, and I talked about this on the stream, on the big one where we talked about it, about how man, I've been betrayed essentially by friends and people you thought you knew, you didn't know, and then it kind of sucks that you got used in that kind of way, and then it makes you feel like it's harder to trust. And I'm not trying to say don't trust people. To be honest, I am saying that, but at the same time, I would say try to vet people better and put people in better buckets, in my opinion. Okay, if they're a colleague, call them a colleague. Right? Don't say this is one of my good friends, or call them what they are. You know, like if they're an online friend, they're an online friend, but just make sure you put people in the right buckets so that you can appropriately have healthy relationships and have healthy boundaries, right? If you call someone a friend, then that means that they're a friend regardless of what they can give you for business or not, right? They've become the homie, and now you guys are talking more intimately as human to human type of experience kind of thing. And then also, again, I mean, the moral of the story is just don't be a jerk and don't be inauthentic. Like, this is just a person who got caught being a mean girl. And so I can't say don't be a mean girl. Like you wanted to be a mean girl. You put your pursuit of trying to grow past the people who actually exist behind this. There are some people here who are not social climbing. There are some people in these circles who are here in good faith. There are other people who are also social climbing off each other as well. There's politics. Don't worry. Don't not everyone here is innocent, okay? But not everyone here is as guilty as you. So I wouldn't want that to be projected onto the rest of the community just because there's a few bad apples. There's a lot of people who are genuinely want to grow with the people in their communities and have healthy relationships. So yeah, sucks to suck. It is what it is. Let me know how you guys feel about it. Very huge VTuber drama. I don't know if Cinder's actually going to be back, if she's going to try to stream. I know already that a lot of YouTubers like Bao and other people have continued to talk more about this situation and about how disappointed they are. I don't know what the future of this is going to be, but I'll give you guys any updates. I'll probably keep this as a one and done episode because it's so long, okay? But I'll give you guys updates maybe on a recap or something later this week if more things happen. All right, I'll catch you guys later. I love you. Y'all take it easy. Stay safe on these VTuber streets because these VTuber streets are not safe. All right, peace.